Hi,
How's it going?
it's going well. How are you?
Great. Like you
Good,
have
good.
weather there.
Yeah, the weather's looking good,
Awesome.
like usual.
That's awesome. Love it.
How are things? How are things at the office? And yes, I really want your Triggerfish license plate art in every room here.
I'm gonna have to let Cody Richardson know to reach out to you.
I'm serious. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, it's really neat. He does all kinds of fish, so
Good.
love it. Yeah.
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 All good.
I know. I'm trying.
I got you. I got you. Cool. Well, yeah. So our group today, by the way, is on the Inner Lagoon. So it's an Inner Lagoon day here at Christmas Island Lodge, and got the outriggers out there, so I'm pretty sure they're going to find some fish. One of our we were at the Korean Wreck yesterday, and with the new group for the week, and one angler alone landed 12 species. So yeah, it was.
It's a good day.
And I had my floating line snapped in half by a massive bluefin trevally. Oopsie.
Did you eat it at least?
It was huge. Yeah, oh yeah, it was sight fishing. It was awesome.
That's awesome. I love that.
I laughed. I cried.
It's one of the best parts of fishing the Korean Wreck. You see them coming.
Oh man, we've had good light last few days.
Ugh,
For sure.
I'm a little jealous, so please put in too much.
You'll be back soon.
I know.
We'll get you here.
I know. Like our always be on our bucket, I guess, you know.
Yay.
Agree. If we
Right.
all right, well, I'm gonna get ready to start this.
Sounds good.
Give it another minute. See how many more people show.
Cool.
Okay. I guess it's time. Hi guys. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Lisa Kiley from Frontiers. I have Bryant Dunn of Christmas Island Lodge. He's the Director of Guest Services, joining us live from Christmas Island. As some of you may know, Frontiers has a long history with Christmas Island Lodge, which is the former Captain Cook Hotel. So we're here to give you behind the scenes look at the new and improved lodge and to answer any questions that you may have about the lodge, the fishery, the island, travel logistics, and what makes Christmas Island so special. At the end, Bryant will give everybody the opportunity to ask questions. And he's coming from a long way away, so please bear with us if there are any delays or technical issues along the way. Over to you, Bryant.
Okay. Well, thanks, Lisa, and the entire Frontiers family. We're really happy to be here. I represent the entire team at Christmas Island Lodge, and Christmas Island Lodge is located on Christmas Island in the Republic of Kiribati. We are located about 2,160 miles south of Honolulu, just under 2 degrees above the equator. So you can draw that line straight down from Honolulu to the equator, and we're just right there in the Central Pacific. Christmas Island Lodge is an angling destination. Christmas Island, of course, one of the most famous destinations for international anglers to fish saltwater flats, and it is the largest coral atoll in the world with about 150 square miles of hard sand flats and pancake flats on the Inner Lagoon, and some other great fishing opportunities as well. But again, I'm really excited to be here with all of you. I look forward to answering any questions you might have and sharing a little bit about the history and the past, present, and future of Christmas Island Lodge, so that if you ever get the chance to book a trip through Frontiers and come and join us out here, you'll know what's in store for you, and I think you're going to enjoy every aspect of that. So with that in mind, let me start with the history here. It's a shared history, really, with Frontiers, as Frontiers has been involved in this island and this fishery for decades, really. Formerly, the Captain Cook Hotel was the one and only destination lodgings dating way back, really into the late 70s and 80s and forward up until before COVID came along. It was at that time that I and my partners took over the property and have now evolved that property into a very, very different experience. In fact, we don't use the hotel at all anymore. It's just not part of our offerings. The 20-acre parcel that we have does include that and many other buildings. For those of you who visited in the past, I'm sure you remember. But now we've actually taken that and made it a more manageable space by fencing in a 2.3-acre compound surrounded by coconut tree palm frond fencing. We have renovated our bungalows. We currently have 5 bungalows encompassing 10 private suites. We're talking about thatched roofs. We're talking beachside. And so as part of our standard package, of course, every angler has their own private room. So that's a fun offering that we have right now. In fact, I'll just show you over my shoulder here. You can see I'm sitting in front of our purple bungalow, which we call the Jeet Suite. So the Jeet Suite here is oceanside. You can literally walk right out your front door and go fishing, walk up and down the beach. We have no neighbors, and I'll get to our competitive advantages here in a little while, what we consider our greatest strengths. And we've got more bungalows down the way. Again, all beachfront, beachside, and incredibly comfortable. In fact, I'll walk you through one of our rooms in a little while. So the history, yes, Captain Cook Hotel, that history is now long behind us. Christmas Island Lodge is now what is referred to in this property in this 5 bungalow layout. Soon to be 6. We will expand eventually to 12 anglers, but for now, we're maxing our groups out at 8 anglers. We believe in the highest level of guest service and guest satisfaction, and we're much more interested in the quality of a fishing trip than in the quantity of the number of anglers we can host. That's where we come from. So when you come to Christmas Island Lodge and book your trip directly through Frontiers, you're going to find the most comfortable experience that exists on Kiritimati, Christmas Island in the Republic of Kiribati. Standard in our packages is the single lodging, and starting in 2024 after New Year's, we are moving toward a one-on-one guide to guest ratio for all of our trips as part of our standard package. So just know that that's the only offering on the island that is the standard package, one-on-one with private suites. So that's about as good as it gets. Let me now talk a little more about our present Christmas Island Lodge. We're really proud of what we've created. Our guide staff is exceptional, and you'll find that out when you come and visit. Our food offerings are the finest on the island. Standard weekly menu might include, of all 3 meals that are served each day, let's start with breakfast: bacon, eggs, sausage, fruit. Yeah, all of it. Granola, orange juice, of course, coffee, hot coffee flown in. And let's touch on our food offerings here real quickly. We actually work through our local partner, who is an importer. One of our Christmas Island Lodge partners is local and the importer for this part of the island. His brother is an importer in Honolulu. So our supply chain is unique within the island. We have fresh produce, meats, vegetables, cheeses, beer, wine. We bake our own bread, so we don't ship that in, but we bring in all of these items every week fresh, so that everything you have is going to be the freshest on the island, and we're the only group that does that. It's expensive to do business here on Christmas Island, but again, it's about the quality of the experience, and we're not going to reserve or compromise in any way for any cost for what we can offer our guests. And we believe the quality of the experience will speak for itself and justify those expenses. So that's our breakfast. That's great. Lunches, well, if you remember the quintessential classic cheese sandwich, the Christmas Island cheese sandwich that was so famous for its really lack of quality and attention to guest service, we've certainly replaced that. So we're offering chips and nuts and trail mix and sandwiches that are now fresh lettuce and meats and cheeses, fresh baked bread. And for you pescatarians or vegetarians out there, we can also offer fish sandwiches or vegetarian selections, vegetable sandwiches or wraps. We can do that. And of course, we customize lunches to any request that comes along. So you can feel confident and comfortable knowing that your lunches are not only going to be filling, you'll probably have some leftovers, and they'll be similar to a lunch you might make for yourself at home, hopefully even maybe a little bit better. So then we move on to our entrees and our menus for dinners. Our common entrees over the course of your week here, of your 6 days of fishing and your week-long package would be lobster with drawn butter and lemon at night, fresh vegetables on the side, potatoes, salads, any entree like that for our opening night. You're going to find fresh fish dishes, stir-fry dishes. You're going to have fresh ribeyes flown in Hawaii, and you're going to have breaded veal and cutlets. And you know, we do have a luau night. So not only will we have those fresh entrees every night with appetizers like ceviche, sushi, sashimi, rolls like that, and fresh empanadas baked in our own Argentinian style empanada oven on site. Yeah, but you're going to have fresh desserts, ice cream. How do you keep ice cream fresh on an island like this with no real refrigeration? Well, we not only are connected to the solar power grid of the island, but we have our own backup generators in case anything that with the power should go out. We can go directly to our chest freezers, of which we have several, and surprise you with some nice desserts in that way. Fresh baked pies and cakes will also accompany that. Luau night, yeah, we're going to have a roasted pig and all kinds of surprises on that table, more food than you're going to be able to finish, which is great because we also invite our guide staff and their families to Luau night so that we can enjoy a nice night with our local Christmas Island Lodge family and their families. It's very special. So so that's the food aspect of it. Lisa, do we have any questions yet that have popped up that I could answer before I continue on with our offerings and our tour of the lodge?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, fire away, people. If you do have any questions, I will answer them in real time. So any info you're looking for, I'll make sure to get to you right away. So we talk about our daily plan or our week plan. And our plan for the week includes 6 fully guided days of fishing, fully outfitted. A combination of days out on the inner lagoon on our outrigger boats, as well as on trucks that will take us to different parts of the island, including the famous Huff Dam, the Wise Site, and the Korean Wreck over the course of your week here fishing. We generally truck fish a couple days during the week and fish on the inner lagoon out of our outrigger boats the majority of the week. However, one of the great offerings of Christmas Island Lodge and one of the most important considerations when you're booking with a lodge on Christmas Island is the level of flexibility. We pride ourselves in being utterly flexible so that if you want to fish the inner lagoon every single day, then that's where we're going to go. If you want to fish the Korean Wreck, perhaps more than one day a week, and the inner lagoon and mix it up, you know what? That's what's going to happen. We can fish the inner lagoon by boat and other destinations on the island by truck simultaneously. It's that flexibility that sets us apart, one of the things that sets us apart here on the island. Let's talk about a few other advantages Christmas Island has, Christmas Island Lodge has, as you review other options on the island. Our location is a big strength of ours. We are 10 minutes away from Cassidy International Airport, and that is the one and only airport on the island. Cassidy International Airport, call letters CXI, offers one flight weekly, arriving here on Wednesdays. You actually depart Honolulu if you're coming from North America on Tuesdays, cross the international date line on your 3-hour flight, and will arrive here on Wednesday, departing a week later, our Wednesday, North American Tuesday, landing in Honolulu at 10:45 a.m. If you're coming from Asia, Australia, New Zealand, that side of the globe, you'll fly through Nadi, Fiji, leaving you're leaving late at night from Nadi and arriving at about 7:30 a.m. Christmas Island time. That gives you an opportunity to get some fishing in on your arrival day in addition to the 6 days of fishing you'll have otherwise. Pretty nice. So our location is wonderful, that we have no neighbors. You can look up and down the coastline for about 4 miles in either direction. There's not a light, not a street light, not a light from any home or bungalow. We're utterly alone and private, and that's one aspect of the lodge life that we love here. In the past, if you've been to Captain Cook Hotel, you remember that you drove 35 minutes each way on a very rough road to the boat launch. That's no longer the case. We have our own private boat launch just across the street, a very, very short drive. It takes about 8 minutes to drive there. Some of our guests think we can make it in 5 if we try. We'll keep it at 8, but it's nevertheless a very short drive. and again, to our private boat launch that's only accessible to Christmas Island Lodge guests, which puts you near the back of the inner lagoon right off the bat, right out of the gate. So we can be the first on and the last off the inner lagoon every morning. And that's a wonderful advantage. And not having to make that long, bumpy drive every morning. For those of you who have joined us before, you know what a great advantage that now is for us. So we're really happy about that. We have about 30 people on staff here, about a dozen fishing guides and our grounds crew, some of whom you may see working behind me. They work every day diligently to make sure that this property is clean and tidy. Our kitchen staff, of course, and then all of our handymen and construction workers. We have a few ongoing projects going on right now on the property. We've started construction on our new Maniaba. A Maniaba is a communal meeting place where we dine and have cocktail hour in the evenings, and it's generally an area that we spend a lot of time in. Of course, it's right next to the ocean. I'll show you that in a minute. Another important aspect to consider with Christmas Island Lodge is what's allowing us to get together right now, and that's our Starlink internet system. So we have high-speed internet here at the lodge at about 138 megabytes per second. So that's actually faster than I get my internet back home in Idaho the time of the year that I'm back there. So very quick access to internet. You can stay in touch with friends and family. Heck, you can even check in with work if you feel like you need to during your vacation, but this gives you great options. Also a safety consideration here. Now, it's important to understand that our packages are all-inclusive. So unlike some lodges, your Wi-Fi is complimentary. Your daily laundry service is complimentary. Our packages include all bottled water, sodas, wine, beer. That's all included in your package price. And as well as your one-on-one guiding, which begins again on January 1st in 2024 as we move away from our two-on-one packages. Again, that all comes with it. So it even comes with the ice cream. So our menus, of course, are included in all of that as well. Something that you don't need to worry about a bill going out the door for added fuel surcharges or your fishing licenses, which, by the way, we acquire and purchase for you in advance of your arrival. So you don't need to wait in the long line at the airport and pay the $60 when you arrive to get your fishing licenses. We've already got those for you. We get those in advance. Lisa provides me with all necessary information well in advance of your arrival so that I can acquire those for you. So that's another nice thing. You just walk right out the door. We load you up in our trucks, take you to our private bungalows, meet you with a welcome drink and a cold towel, and get you settled before our orientation meeting and our welcome talk upon arrival. So a lot of reasons to come to Christmas Island Lodge, a lot of reasons to choose Christmas Island Lodge over the other options on the island. And of course, we understand and are very appreciative of our guests that you could go anywhere. You could be anywhere in the world, and you could be anywhere else on Christmas Island as you take that very valuable time off from work and from family, those significant resources it takes to travel here and travel back and be present here on one of the world's truly greatest fisheries islands. We appreciate it, and we're thankful for every guest that joins us here, which is why guest service and guest satisfaction truly is at the heart of everything we do at Christmas Island Lodge. So know that from your first inquiry through Lisa to the many, many emails that go back and forth as we cater to specific needs, dietary restrictions, meal requests, guide requests, and every other aspect of the guest experience. Frontiers and Christmas Island Lodge are really proud to work hand in hand to create the most customized and tailored experience for you with your happiness and well-being always at the front of what we do. And it's also important to remember and know that for us, this angling experience goes far beyond just the fishing experience. It even goes far beyond the guest service and satisfaction aspect. For us, every partner in Christmas Island Lodge is a former guide or outfitter or a current guide or outfitter, and each and every one of us holds conservation, fisheries conservation, central to what we do and how we operate our business. For example, last week we were proud to have a fisheries biologist, Dr. David Phillip from the University of Illinois, join us and present to our guide staff and our guests a presentation regarding the physiology of bonefish, life cycles, spawning behavior, and a report on the various radio telemetry studies that we have done through the Fisheries Conservation Foundation in other fisheries, including the Bahamas, throughout the Himalayas, and in other areas, that we look forward to implementing here on Christmas Island in conjunction with the Department of Fisheries as we work towards building that relationship. Conservation is very important to us, always upgrading the knowledge base of our guide staff, sharing that with our guests, and implementing some policies here, including keep fish wet, best handling practices, as we do our best to, of course, fish with barbless hook, limit air exposure, limit our handling of fish, and work towards trying to be the best stewards possible of the fisheries here locally on Christmas Island. We do trash cleanups regularly. Although it's a very pristine ecosystem here, we know that we can always do better. So we do that, and we do it every day. Well, that's kind of it for that aspect of this. Again, folks, fire away with any questions or comments. I'm happy to address them.
We do have a couple.
Good.
Okay, first question. What are some of the species on the Korean wreck?
What are some of the species? Was that what you said?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, it's a long list, but I'll name a few of them. Giant trevally are certainly very present on the Korean wreck. I saw the largest GT I have seen in the flats to date yesterday. I estimated it being over 80 pounds. I got a great shot at it. He looked and turned on the fly, and then I think he saw me in the background because he spooked. And so, close call. We call that a near Jeet experience, and that was really fun and exciting. Bluefin trevally, lots of bluefin trevally out there, and all around the island. Had a very humbling experience with a large bluefin trevally yesterday that took my fly, crushed it, and as he was running, all the line was going out, things were good, we were hooked up, and unfortunately, the line caught my reel knob at the last instant, straightened my rod, and snapped my floating line in half. Painful, I laughed, I cried. Bluefin trevally will do that to you. They're thugs of the flats, and those GTs are truly marauders, gangsters. Other species, golden trevally. I saw a question come up about that. Absolutely, golden trevally. In addition to bluefin trevally, golden trevally, giant trevally, we'll find striped trevally. We'll find spotted trevally, black trevally, and dusky trevally. Several trevally species, and we see most of them every day. Yesterday, anglers landed a dozen different species at the wreck, including bluefin trevally, giant trevally, spotted trevally, and striped trevally. We also have triggerfish, and we have 3 different primary species of triggerfish. We have the yellow margin triggerfish, which is also referred to as the peach-faced triggerfish. We have the Titan triggerfish, which is also referred to as the mustache triggerfish. We have Picasso triggerfish, and I have seen another species or 2 down there of smaller diminutive triggerfish species that I'm yet to identify. In addition to that, yesterday alone, we landed sweet lips on the flats, landed queenfish on the flats. Several queenfish were landed yesterday. Small grouper. We landed, what else did we land? We landed Christmas Island wrasse, which are also called surge wrasse, one of the most colorful fish around. Landed parrotfish as well. And what else came to the net? There were probably more landed. Right now, those are the ones I can remember. So it's utterly diverse. And Christmas Island has a reputation as a world-class bone fishery. It is. But what I would say, with having spent significant time here, is that it's the multi-species aspect of this fishery that stands out the most. It's remarkable, the number of species you'll catch over the course of the week. And again, it's not just that you have opportunities here. You have opportunities every hour of every day. But you actually will bring these fish to hand because you do have so many opportunities. It's a great fishery for beginner and expert fishermen alike. So
where I learned
yeah. Say that again. Sorry, Lisa. What?
That's where I learned how to saltwater fly fish. So yeah. It's really special to me. So
it is. It's a special place. So okay. So maybe now's a good time for me to show you around a little bit. Give you a little bit of a tour. I do have good range bandwidth here with Starlink. Again, we have Starlink at the lodge, so you'll always be connected. So I'm going to reverse this camera and show you around a little bit. So if you can see, This is our lounge right here. Of course, everything is right on the ocean. You can see our private beach and our bungalows, the G Suite and other bungalows farther down, bungalows back here, and again, our lounge. This lounge area is going to have the sunshades replaced with a new Maniaba roof, a permanent roof, which will look very much like that, a thatched bungalow. So believe it or not, we do occasionally get rainfall here, so we'll have that aspect certainly addressed as we move towards that more permanent Maniaba. I'll just walk out on the beach a little ways here. This is your front yard at Christmas Island Lodge. It goes on and on and on and for miles and miles and miles. There's no one else around. Great fishing right here in front of the lodge. And it's wonderful that as a guest here, you can just walk out your front door and fish all of this. I came out the other day after working on my computer all morning just to get some fresh air. And I looked down, and not 6 feet past those breaking waves right against the sand was about a 40-pound giant trevally cruising the beach. If I'd had my fly rod near me and in my hand, I would have had a great opportunity there for what would be a fish of a lifetime, I think, for most people. Getting a little farther back here, and Lisa, can you hear me okay still?
Yep, can you hear loud?
All right. So there is the Jeet Suite. We have names for all of our bungalows. This is Milkfish, the Milkfish Bungalow. Of course, we have hammocks in the trees as well. It's a little breezy today. It's very nice. The weather on Christmas Island varies little over the course of the year. About 1 degree Fahrenheit is all. And it's usually in the mid-80s during the day, low to mid-80s in the day, and at night in the 70s. Very comfortable. I'm going to show you inside one of the bungalows here just for a moment. We do have a full lodge, but I have permission from one of our guests to take a quick look. So let's walk in and show you what we have here. So what you're going to see is a comfortable room. All rooms come with queen-size beds. I'll turn on the light so we can see a little better here. 1 second. Find the light switch. I'll show you the bathroom as well. But standard come air conditioning and fans for our rooms, refrigerators. And by the way, those fridges are always going to be full of sodas, Cokes, and Sprites, beer, and also bottled water. Of course, all of our water is filtered and clean. You can see closets, tables. You can see our bathrooms here that included tiled showers and sinks and toilets. It's important, and this is coral stone that's exposed. Many of the rooms, their walls have coral stones walls throughout, but very comfortable amenities. All of this is brand new. We renovated and remodeled every bungalow here from the top down, literally. New roofs, new amenities, everything is new.
I can vouch for the fact that those beds are very comfortable. We stayed and it was very, very comfortable.
Yes, it's the lodgings are really comfortable. And again, you know, unlike the other lodges, our standard package is private. You know, every room is private for one angler. Now, if you are a couple or traveling with your partner, obviously you're going to want to stay, you know, if your relationship partner that you're going to want to stay in the same room, great. You can. It's all yours. But if you're traveling with a group of friends, fellow anglers, individuals, you're going to have your own private space, and that's what it's going to look like. And this is going to be your front yard. We worked hard on the grounds to create gardens. We are in the process of planning our own private flower garden as well as our own private vegetable garden. We believe in self-sustainability, and so ongoing projects include research on our new reverse osmosis water system. So we'll be creating our own drinking water. That's in the works. I had an electrical engineer who specializes in renewable energy out at the lodge last week, and we are refining our solar power off the grid offerings as well, so that we won't have to depend on the government power that sometimes can go in and out. Of course, we're equipped with 3 large backup generators. So if the government power goes out for any reason, and that does occur, that's irrelevant to us because we could turn on our generators right away. And in fact, we're working off generator power at this moment so that we could ensure that we wouldn't have a break in internet coverage. Can't control what the government does, but we can certainly control our reality here at Christmas Island Lodge. And as we say, control what you can control. So we're doing that. I'm just going to keep walking around here a little bit. Again, any questions come in, let me know.
We
Lisa,
did.
okay, yeah, fire away.
I believe you already answered the question regarding coming as a single angler, how can I customize my trip if I'm sharing a guide with another? But starting guide. So
Okay, yeah, a little broken there, no problem though. I think you're asking about the 2-on-1 aspect if you're coming alone, but 2-on-1 goes away as of January 1st of this coming year. You're always going to have your own guide as part of the standard package. We are going to leave an option out there for guests if they want to share a guide at a different price point, but our standard package is going to be 1-on-1. So that's the way everything's going to be booked. Okay, so yeah, this bungalow is lived in. This is what it's going to look like when you come and join us. You have your own private rod holders. Of course, the guides memorize all equipment for each guest so they can make sure that your rods go on your rod holders. And might be drying out some clothes because you're going to be wading around in the water all the time. So you can see I talked about the Jeet Suite there, and there it is for you. And Lisa, you still got me? No, maybe not. Here, let me walk back around over here. Did you, hold on one sec here, folks. I think I might have lost. Hold on.
I'm back. I'm sorry.
Okay,
I'm here.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Did you lose me there for a sec?
I did.
Okay.
Apparently is not.
Okay. No problem. Well, as long as everyone could see that, yeah, I mentioned we have some ongoing projects here at the lodge, and so we've got our construction crew over there working on the Maniaba. There's bluefin, yeah. And by the way, and Lisa, you got me?
I do. That's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, so just giving you an idea of all these other aspects. There's triggerfish back there. If we can zoom in, I won't let me, but and you can see we've got our rod washing trays here. So every day at the end of your trip, you'll have your rods and gear rinsed off. So yeah, that's kind of what we have going on here at Christmas Island Lodge. So folks, any other questions or comments, fire away. Love to help.
What about milkfish opportunity?
Yeah, so a couple things there. There's two types of milkfish opportunities. At the Korean Wreck, at an area we specifically refer to as Milkfish Point, you can see tailing milkfish in that 30 to 50 inch range all day long. And they are eating algae near the bottom of they're tailing actually and eating algae there. And you can sight fish for those all day long. Additionally, there is the opportunity to go outside of the lagoon and find milkfish feeding on the surface. That would be the kind of request you would make in advance of your arrival so that we could plan to accommodate that and set a day aside or part of the day aside to go out, maybe do some trolling, which is fun with fly rods, or conventional gear, whatever you prefer, and make that a priority and give that a shot. So yes, we can absolutely chase milkfish here for sure. I'm seeing a question there. Michael, offshore has, okay, regular offshore. Okay, maybe Lisa, you can help me with that. It's hard for me to see it.
Offshore, is there a regular offshore trip? So solely offshore or a combo offshore trip?
So the answer to that is, again, we customize all of these trips on a daily basis. So if someone has a desire to do that, or a group has a desire to do that, then you would just let us know in advance, and we would work that. If someone is looking for an offshore trip for the entire week, if a group wants that, we can organize it. It does depend on the seas. I mean, if the seas are rough, it's not necessarily that might not be as safe as that. But we can certainly again accommodate and customize any trip. So if you want to fish some offshore, we can do it.
Okay.
Was there another question there?
Yeah, there are a couple more. Someone asked about rainy season, and then next about government and the airline relationship.
Okay, great. So as far as rainfall goes, if you were to Google that online, what you're probably going to find is that it would tell you that rainfall tends to be maximized, or the highest rainfall totals come in April. When I talk to my guide staff here and get their insight from their lifetimes of living here, what I hear is that actually it's basically the same all year long. I think you're talking about just a matter of millimeters here. So, you know, they'll talk, they will tell you that it just is kind of the same, that we have one season a year. And what I have seen in my time here is that it's just almost random. Like every day is different. Most of the time we have sun. It's a beautiful sunny day today. There's barely a cloud in the sky. But we may have some rain tomorrow. We just don't know. And when I check weather reports, and I use the Windy app, I think that's a great tool to look into weather for anywhere in the world, but here as well. You know, 48 hours out is about as far as I look very hard, because it really does change quickly. Yeah. So I would tell you that you could get rain on any given week of the year. And according to the locals, there's really not one season where it rains much more than any other. So that's what I would say.
Make
Yeah.
We have how's the government relationship with the airline? Do you feel the relationship is solid?
Yeah. What we have seen since reopening on May 5th, when the first flight returned, has been a seamless transition. The airport was updated and all of the improvements were made. There's a new terminal there. The runway is in great shape. The response teams are lined, and they were all trained by TSA, the United States TSA. So everything's running well. As far as a government relationship with Fiji Airways, which is the primary provider from Honolulu and from Nandi, it's been great. They're very easy to work with, and I've enjoyed interacting with them very well. And we haven't heard of any issues between the government and Fiji Airways. So, you know, I can't comment on what that relationship looks like behind the scenes. But as far as air travel here, it's been great. You know, it's easy. Just once a week. That's it.
Yep. Seem pretty seamless their lab.
Yeah, and so I would also mention, you know, we are in one of the most remote places in the world. Kiribati really is one of the most remote countries in the world, and again, there is only one weekly flight. So with that in mind, if a flight were to be canceled for some reason, and you haven't made it here, that can be challenging. If you are here and it gets canceled, you're going to be here for another week, and that's just the reality of it. So it's really important when you're traveling to Christmas Island to seriously consider, and I can't emphasize it enough, the ideas of travel insurance and medical evacuation insurance. And you can get those right through Frontiers. Yep. Frontiers can manage that. So, you know, it's really easy. Lisa will take care of all of that for you and the Frontiers team. But again, you know, things happen. Although it happens very infrequently, it's not impossible that you could have an interruption to your travel, whether it be coming into Christmas Island or anywhere in the world as you come this direction. So I would highly encourage people to consider travel insurance, and also, you know, perhaps a global rescue membership for medical evacuation insurance through Frontiers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we definitely recommend having an evacuation we can provide through our trip that we offer every person who comes through our doors. Next question is, how many boats does the lodge have? And
currently oh, sorry, what was that last part?
And what type of boats?
And what type of boats? Okay, how many boats and what type of boats? Okay, yeah, so we offer two 35-foot long outrigger boats. Those boats are actually equipped with brand new Yamaha and Honda 40 horsepower outboard motors. We flew those in after the island reopened. We'd taken those outriggers, which this property had used before, and we took them apart, stripped them down, sanded them off, revarnished them, repainted them, reconstructed them. They are brand new, and those new 40 power outboards, of course, get us around very nicely around the inner lagoon and outside of it as well. We have 2 of those boats, so we can use 2 of them every day. They do have what we refer to as boat houses on them. So these are, excuse me, roofed areas where you have shade, so you can sit there on your 6-inch padded seats and benches and comfortably rest while you're having lunch and stay out of the sun. And Lisa, I think you appreciate the comfort of those boats. We do also have shaded areas for our boat drivers. So I think we're the only boats on the island that have those too, because we always want to take care of our team, and we do that. So really comfortable, really fun. They zip you around. You can even stand on them and cast off them, and that can be a fun way to spend time. You can troll right off them, and every boat, of course, will have a large cooler full of ice that'll be keeping your sodas, your waters, your beer, and your lunches cold. Tastes pretty good having a cold drink on the ride back to the private boat launch at the end of a long day of fishing. So you can be sure you have all that. Yeah, thumbs up, big thumbs up. Yeah, that's what we have for boats.
Okay. And let's see. Sorry, this one's a long one.
It's okay. We like it.
I apparently can't open it. With CXI being open now the past few months, how has the bonefish population and sizes, how is the bonefish population and the sizes of the bonefish?
There we go. Okay, sorry, it just cut out for a sec. What was that question?
Sorry. So it was, oh gosh, so many questions.
Good.
With Christmas Island being open now the past few months, how are the bonefish like sizes, and how's the population doing?
Great question. And I'll actually answer that with a direct report from the guests that we had last week here at the lodge. A group of amazing men coming out of London, a great group who was actually returning to Christmas Island after 26 years away. They came here and stayed at the old Captain Cook 27 and then 26 years ago, coming back for the first time since then. And on the departure day, I asked them, gentlemen, what do you see as far as the fisheries? What are your comments and observations, having been here way back when and also now? And the answer is really simple. It's exactly the same as it used to be. The only thing they mentioned was that they did see a greater variety of species, that they encountered a higher number of species while they were here. But as far as the bone fishing, it was just like it was in the old days, just as good as it ever was. And we're seeing some really nice bonefish here size-wise. Their guests are landing bonefish, approximating 10 pounds every week. And so, yeah, the numbers and size seem to be exactly what they've always been, with no decrease. And it was something we were concerned about. We didn't know when we came back after COVID what we would find. After all, protein is a highly valued commodity in a developing nation. And so, as it turns out, the local law that bans the consumption of bonefish, of eating bonefish, has held strong, and it looks like we're right where we've always been, one of the top bone fisheries in the world. Thank you for that question. That's an important one.
It is, absolutely. Next question. Should a guest break a rod, do you have any loaner gear for them?
My answer to that is bring the gear you'll need. And of course, if you read all of our advertising on our website at christmasislandlodge.com or the paperwork that will come to you through Frontiers, guests are expected to provide all of their own gear, including terminal tackle, which means leaders, tippet, and flies. If a rod were to be broken, it is very possible we would have something there for you. I wouldn't recommend coming out here with one rod because you might end up having to fish with a 12 weight for the rest of the week. Nor do we rent equipment, and that's not something we'll ever do. So bring what you need. If something goes haywire, I have a feeling we can probably take care of you, but that is not part of our standard package offering. Mm-hmm. And no, we would not charge you for an additional rod use if that were the case.
Awesome. Yeah, I like to tell people to be completely self-sufficient when they go to Christmas Island because there's no fly shops. There's nothing at the lodge usually that can be loaned, 'cause especially if more than one person wrecks a rod, it's real.
Yeah, that's a fact. And Lisa, let's just speak to that again. We talk about the remote nature of Christmas Island. It is remote. Although it's a quick, it's a flight to Honolulu and a quick 3-hour flight the next morning down here to the lodge. It's really easy to get here. I live in the Rocky Mountains much of the year, and if I have traveled in the past, as I have many times to the Bahamas, it's like the same. It's essentially the same experience. You're probably going to have to overnight in Fort Lauderdale or Miami, and then catch that morning flight to Grand Bahama, Nassau, wherever you're going. It feels just the same, especially for our guests in the western half of the northern hemisphere. It's incredibly easy to get here, but once you arrive here, understand Christmas Island Lodge is wonderful. We have many amenities. The food, the service is top notch. Something that Western anglers and travelers will find meets and ideally exceeds their expectations. But Christmas Island is remote. There are no restaurants here. There are no stores here. There's no spa here. There are no operable ATMs on the island at the moment. You got to understand, this is a remote desert island, figuratively speaking, but also it's literal. So when you come here, you need to understand this. It is not like Honolulu. This is Christmas Island. So this place isn't for everyone. If you're expecting a 5-star Ritz-Carlton experience with optional massage and spa visits, this is not the place for you. There are places like that in the world, in a few places, but this isn't it. Having said this is an absolutely unique and exceptional experience. And for the person who appreciates an adventurous aspect while living in very much in comfort, and being attended to by a lodge staff that wants nothing more than to exceed your expectations, this is the place for you and for someone like that.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Next question. Our last question, unless anything comes through. Is there any commercial fishing, or are there any commercial fishing concerns impacting the fishery at the moment?
As far as the fly fishery, and please excuse those who are out there who prefer to throw conventional gear, I'm really referring to the same fishery. There's no commercial fishing that affects that. There are fishing boats. There are Spanish boats, Korean boats, Japanese, Chinese occasionally that will be in far outside the island, not within view of the island, way out there, that are fishing, and they're primarily fishing for tuna. So that commercial fishing, like in many parts of the world, exists. But as far as commercial fishing that's affecting the recreational fishery, it just isn't here. It does not appear to have any effect, and we certainly don't believe there's any effect on it. That's not a naive or innocent or ignorant opinion. It's just you're talking about two different types of commercial fishing, and the recreational fishery just is not affected by that.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, well, any last minute thoughts, questions, comments, folks? Open to everything. Love to help while I'm here. And if not,
We're
then
happy to answer questions later. If anyone comes up with anything, just feel free to reach out to me or our Facebook page or Bryant. Oh, wait.
yeah, absolutely. And I see something's coming. What do we have there?
How long is the fishing day?
So the fishing days vary, but here's the daily schedule. Coffee is available on the table, the breakfast table in the lounge at 5:30 a.m. We get an early start around here. 6 o'clock, your breakfast will be served at 6 sharp, and then we'll depart for fishing at 6:30 a.m. Whether we go to the inner lagoon or drive to one of the other areas farther away, we'll generally fish until approximately 4:30 in the afternoon, arriving back at the lodge between 5 and 6. We got back at 6:30 last night. It was about a 12-hour day, but on average, you can be thinking that you're going to get somewhere in the neighborhood of that 8 to 9 hours of fishing in a given day. If you're fishing by 7:30 with the boat transportation or truck transportation, maybe 8 o'clock, fish till 4. You're looking at 8-9 hours on an average day, every day. And then it's cocktail hour.
Yeah. And it changes day to day depending on what you're doing and where
It
you're
definitely
and
does.
with.
Yeah.
If there's some hardcore anglers with you, you might stay out there a whole lot longer.
Yeah, you might, or whatever you prefer. It's customized, but that would be what I would tell you
Okay.
in regard to that.
All right, next question. We have more. Well, one more right now. Can you talk a bit about the relationship with the locals, and are there things that anglers can bring down to them to help them?
That's a great question, and an important subject. And thank you for bringing that up. We have very close relations with the locals here on Christmas Island. As I mentioned earlier in the webcast, we employ about 30 locals here, and I have people knocking on my door every single day looking for work. It's been great, and we do what we can. It's our estimation that through the employment of our staff here at Christmas Island Lodge, we are providing support and income for about 250 inhabitants locally. Something that we take very seriously and that's important to us. So our relationship is very good. We refer to the Christmas Island Lodge family, the CIL family, and that really extends to all of our employees and the extended families of those employees. But literally, it's also true that we employ many members of the same families here, both immediate and nuclear and extended. So our guide staffs have fathers and sons on it, cousins that extend all the way through our service staffs, lodge ground staff, kitchen staff, etc. It really is a family, and with that, we've established ourselves as an important part of this local community, and really we're just getting started. In fact, we are in the process of forming the Christmas Island Lodge Community Conservation Fund, and that is going to work towards conservation efforts. We work with many conservation groups as it is, and that'll continue. So then the other aspect of that question was what, Lisa, in addition to community, what can they bring? Great question. Well, what I would not bring is anything that requires additional upkeep, like batteries, right? Stereo systems that might need extra batteries, that incurs expense. The locals probably aren't going to be able to afford to do that. But sunglasses, if you're thinking about the guides, sunglasses are great. Sunscreen can be good, although they don't generally use it. Anything for the kids, drawing and artwork materials are very, very much appreciated. We see that coming in a lot. Crayons, markers, coloring books. Those are wonderful. Food items, maybe not as much, because some of that can be regulated on the flights as far as what you can bring in or not bring in, processed foods, etc. But anything that you will bring, what they can always use is wading boots. If you come and you're going to stay and fish with us, wading boots for the guides, we equip them with the top gear, top to bottom. We absolutely do, but those wear out, and sometimes as we bring new guide trainees into the program or consider bringing them in, they can gain experience on their own by getting out and exploring the local fisheries, and those boots can help. Mm-hmm. Anything you bring will be greatly appreciated.
I mean, and if you wanted to bring anything, women's clothes, kids' clothes, things people use on a daily basis that you don't need, that you can leave behind, that's something that we always would tell our guests along the way.
That's a great recommendation.
Do you happen to know what the shoe sizes are usually?
Yes, that's a rather insightful question, because the fact of the matter is the locals wear larger shoe sizes than your average, say, North American. If I'm 6 foot tall and I wear a size 11 shoe, my guide staff might average 5'7" and wear size 13s. It's a fact. Wide shoes and larger than average shoes. I did a boot order recently, a wading boot order, and for our dozen guides, I think I had one size 10, one size 11, one size 12, and 9 size 13s. So wow. That's what it is. That's a great question that you asked it, and that's a fact.
Next question, still pertaining to boots, are what type of boots do you recommend?
That's a very important question. What I do not recommend are the zip-up booty-style boots. You have hard sand here, but you have a lot of coral here that's very sharp, and that coral really takes a toll on the wading boots, and the neoprene style booties will really get shredded here in a short period of time. Additionally, they don't lend the ankle support that I would recommend in some of the uneven ground. Now, wading around here, for the vast majority of the time, it's very easy. That's certainly not an obstacle to wanting to come to Christmas Island by any means. But personally, I've sprained my ankles a lot in sports and that over the course of my lifetime. I love high ankle boots. I love ankle support. I love hard-soled shoes, and a more robust, sturdier wading boot is what I recommend. I love boots that have straps that wrap around the top of the boot that not only help to keep sand out from getting into your boots, but also can cover your shoelaces. In certain aspects, when you're wading on the shore, sometimes your fly line can get wrapped around your shoelaces, and that can be a little bit frustrating. So that type of boot is what I highly recommend. A high ankle boot, a sturdy boot, that really works best here on Christmas Island.
It can get a lot frustrating, that's for sure. That seems to be the last question. Are there any other questions out there? We're happy to answer them.
Okay. Well, if any come up, we'll answer it. But hopefully, Lisa, I think this is hopefully recorded maybe, and you're gonna be able to offer this to people in the future. So folks, if you're looking to share information potentially with your fishing guests or friends, send them this way. Frontiers and Christmas Island Lodge have a long partnership, and Lisa and I work together all the time. We love it. We really value our relationship with Frontiers, so that's where you're going to want to go. And again, we'd love to host you here in the future. I know that I speak personally for the partners in the Christmas Island Lodge family. We treasure and value our guests and appreciate you very much. So we hope you come down and hang out with us here, and we'll show you the angling adventure of a lifetime, I can promise you.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Bryant, and thank you everyone for joining us. Again, if you need any answers, or if we didn't answer your question, please feel free to reach out and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. And Bryant, I'm sure I'll be talking to you soon.
Probably momentarily. So Sabo Corapa from Christmas Island, and we'll see you all soon. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone.